What's going on, everybody? My name is Jacob Haros, and this is my presentation for Area B. I chose to talk about the big tech article about Silicon Valley and control companies like Apple, Google, Facebook, and Amazon, which are also known as the Big Four. Before I knew that they have, basically control of our everyday lives. I didn't really understand how powerful they were, or how much influence they have on society, the economy too as well, and like even politics nowadays. Um, One of the main ideas in the article was that these tech companies are so large that they, basically operate like monopolies. Um, they control, huge parts of the internet, social media, shopping, and communication as well. At first, I used to think that it was basically pretty normal because they're successful companies. But now I can see how that, level of power could actually be a moral issue. Um, if only a few companies control um, most of the technology people use every day, then there's less competition, and that can affect the fairness and equality in the economy. Uh, Another thing the article talked about was how these companies basically make a huge amount of money, but they don't really pay taxes fairly, or they don't necessarily create enough jobs for as like there enough people, they like that made me really think about the moral responsibility of businesses. But yeah, so like, should companies basically just profit off, or should they think about how they affect workers, smaller businesses, um, and like the society overall? I feel like there honestly should be a balance, but in reality, it kind of seems like profit is, usually the main focus, like making money and making a large amount of income. Another thing that basically stood out to me was how dependent we are on all these platforms as individuals. You know, for example, I depend on Google for, searching everything, anything I want to know, anything I wonder, anything I want to know the answer to, anything for school. I use it to look up Canvas, the San State portal, Apple for phones. Everybody wants Apple for the best, technology. Amazon for shopping, fast, easy. It's pretty reliable. Kind of made me, realize how hard it would be if like we really didn't have them. But then it's kind of scary when you think about it because a few companies can control all of that. They also control like the info we see, we look up, and how we interact online. But from a moral point of view, I guess I think the issue would be about responsibility and power. These companies, they have a lot of influence and a lot of power to influence. So I think they should, also have a responsibility to use that power in, a fair way. But another thing the article suggests is that, sometimes they don't always do that, or at least not enough as they should, to prevent unfair competition. It also made me, think about how technology isn't really neutral. We think of apps and platforms as, tools, but, they actually shape how people think and how we shop, communicate, and how we vote. That just adds another, moral layer. But overall, I think the article changed how I view big tech companies, to be honest. I still use them every day, and I think they have a lot of benefits. And I see, the ethical problems that come with how powerful they are as well. But after reading this, I think the main question whether isn't really whether big tech companies are good or bad, but I would say how like we can make sure it stays balanced and fair enough, to where it benefits society, without not taking too much control.